taking time off does not start with booking the trip. If you are an entrepreneur and you want time to rest, reset, and reflect and rejuvenate throughout the year, then it actually starts with building a business first. So, the big question that I get from my community is how do I prepare my business for time away? Now, your girl has been taken off for years. If you are new here, my name is Dr. TK, a licensed clinical psychologist and therapist business coach. And I truly believe in designing a life first business, which means that you build structure for your business to support your life. Okay. And so if you have not already seen my Abundant CEO Fund video, I brought that back. That was a series I used to do all the time. And I am going to link that up below, but that is where I would say start. So make sure that you go and watch that video right after this one so that you can actually properly plan your funds to take time out of the office. And so let's start with number one, which is creating the vision. So we're going to treat this like a masterclass. So number one is, of course, write the vision down and make it plain. So before you do anything, before you take time off, before you decide on when you're going to take time off, I first want you to decide, what does success look like when you are gone? That is very important. And so things that you want to consider is, what do your revenue goals look like? How much money do you want to make, if anything at all, when you are off your business? What products will you be promoting, or what services will you be promoting? Will there be a wait list for when you come back, especially if you are a service provider? What content, if any, will be published? You don't need to make an announcement that you're going to be gone on vacation. You don't need to tell people that you won't be posting for 7 days. Just don't post. I know that people like to do these announcements, but most of the time people don't even see them. So at the end of the day, if you choose not to post, that is totally up to you. There is no right or wrong way. But if you are going to post, what is going to be your goal linked to those posts or videos that are going out, or maybe even podcasts or YouTube videos? And do you need to batch create them clearly? Another thing you want to consider is, what does success actually look like when you come home? Now, that one is underestimated. Now, for me personally, I like to come back home to like a clean slate. I don't like to come home to a disheveled home. I don't like to come home to an unorganized business, which means that I need to set myself up for success before I leave. And then what I want you to do is document the vision before you ever start creating the task. So think about your vacation, your time off, even if you're not going nowhere, but you're just not going to be in the office. I want you to imagine what you want your business to look like and do when you're gone. And then how do you want it to feel when you come back? All right. So next, number two is, I want you to prioritize client or customer continuity. So what does this mean? Now I'm going to start intertwining exactly what I do in my company. I have a service-based company for mental health services, and my coaching business is actually service-based because I'm very much involved in my coaching programs. And so your clients, your customers, they definitely want to feel supported even when you are unavailable. And this is where team members come in, at least one admin assistant or virtual assistant. And so make sure, first of all, that your clients know that you're going away. Now, I just said you don't have to announce it on social media, but I definitely want you to announce it, especially if you're a therapist, to your clients. Now, me personally, I may give a 2 to 3 weeks advance notice, or maybe even more, depending on the type of client. But I try to keep it uniform where I tell everybody at the same time. Also, what you could do is reschedule your sessions when appropriate. And so, for example, if I am traveling in the middle of the week, I may still choose to see my clients if I have the capacity for it before I travel, because you may have a lot of things on your plate, like planning, packing, and things like that. You could still potentially see clients in the beginning of the week before you leave. Now, one thing I am going to urge you to really sit down and think about is, how do you want to feel going back to seeing clients if you are a service provider? I've learned over the last couple of years that whether I am hosting a live event and potentially taking time off to enjoy the city or the state, or if I'm taking my family to Hawaii or a Disney resort or somewhere that is active with kids, I don't want to come straight back home and the next day I am seeing clients. I need a reset day from the vacation, especially if you're a parent, you know exactly what I am talking about. Okay. But at the end of the day, get together your schedule of what you want it to look like before and after your time off. Also, big to do, block your calendar. Some of us, we have these automated calendar links sent out to our clients, to our customers, to our offers. Maybe if you do like what I do, a VIP session. And sometimes we forget that these links are available through our product store. And so, what I intentionally do, because all of my calendars look for conflict in my calendar, is I have one main calendar called Dr. TK. And that calendar is synced with my Calendly calendar, my mental health calendar, and also my coaching call calendar. So even if my clients went in there when I'm gone and said, I want to schedule my next session, and let's just say they forgot that I was out of the office, it won't let them block those times. It will just skip over that whole week because clearly I've said that I was out of the office all day, including one day before and one day after, or a couple of days after as a buffer. Now, also, depending on who you consult or collaborate with, I notify agencies. Now, the reason why you may not have to do all of this is if you have an admin available for you, because it would just be them telling whoever you work with that you're simply not available or you are out of the office and you will return on a particular day. So make sure that you delegate communication to your team member as it relates to communication through your inbox or potentially even a company voicemail. And big one, protect your boundaries while protecting the client experience. So clients might send you an email. It doesn't mean they expect a response. Your team may contact you, but you have to set up parameters. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But you want to set the tone for what you want communication to look like. Now, I am going to insert this book that I would highly recommend, which is called Clockwork. There are two versions. Just look for the most recent one. I love that book, physical and audible, because it makes me feel like I'm in a mini class, but I like the author's voice or whoever narrates it. And the goal is that you work your way up to a month off your business. And so I'll link that down below. It's in my Amazon store for like CEO mindset. And I recommend that all of my clients actually read that book. Now, if you know that you want systems in place to make sure that things are automated for a private practice, if you're a therapist, maybe even as a group practice owner, I would highly recommend that you grab my Abundant Vacation Guide. It has templates, checklists, standard operating procedures. You can use our swipe templates for inspiration and then personalize them for your business. But I've created that just for our community to take time off. And I want you to have it if you want to take successful time off. So I'll link that down below. Now, next, number 3 is design the offer strategy or your product strategy. And so when you think about time off or a vacation, it is not just time to create new work, right? You want actual time off. And so I first want you to decide what products will you be promoting before your vacation. So maybe they can make some sales while you're gone. And so I may choose an ebook. It may be something that I already have, but maybe I batch create content to match that offer. Now, I intentionally choose offers that align with my current capacity. I don't want to batch create something that I don't even want to talk about. Okay. And so I avoid, for example, launching anything that requires me to constantly show up live. So there have been times where I have been out of the office for a live event that I'm hosting, for any type of coaching investments that I'm in as well, along with just an actual vacation or what I call a CEO retreat. And with that in mind, I will make sure that if I am planning on having a launch, like a program enrollment, when I return back, maybe a week or two after, I can register people for the event because my team member is on. But I'm not going to potentially sell things that involve me to show up clearly right when I get back. Okay. So I reserve my live teaching for my mentorship clients, my coaching clients. And so I prefer personally to put things that are available in my digital product store or maybe even a special promotion while I'm gone on sale through a coupon code that are passive, meaning I have created the content. I have scheduled the content. I may even run Facebook ads, but I don't have to show up to deliver the service. Okay. I wouldn't host a masterclass clearly and sell tickets while I'm gone. Okay. I'll also lean in heavy into digital products. And so I have a whole digital product playlist. I will link that down below. But I love automated sales processes. And so if you are interested in digital products, let me know down below what digital product would be your next or your first digital product. Is it an ebook? Is it a self paced course, like a mini course? Is it a virtual masterclass? What are you interested in terms of digital products? Okay. Now, like I said, I create special promotions depending on the season. So, July is my private practice anniversary. I make that a big deal, but I celebrate it differently every single year. If I know that I'm traveling toward the latter part of July, I will typically have some type of live virtual event in the beginning of July. But this year, we actually had a couple of virtual events in the last 90 days, like a couple of them. So I'm choosing to do things through email marketing, Facebook ads, and through social media, and of course, YouTube with building relationships with my community, you. And so I sometimes will have special promotions tied to a seasonal goal. So even though I'm talking about this right now in the summer, this applies whether it be in the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, in the fall. You determine what your season is in order to take time off work. Now, if you are also saving something specific or funding a future investment, I definitely want to encourage you to intentionally design a campaign, a promotion around that vision. And so I've personally done that where I know that I want to, let's just say, fund a bonus experience for my live event attendees. Then I will have a special promotion so that I can take a percentage of those funds and allocate it to special gift bags, a special dinner, and things like that. Now, I've been mentioning batching your content. For me, batching is everything, okay? Because I'm not trying to be on my phone posting in live time unless it's really my stories. And so number 4 is batch as much as possible. I'm even going to say batch everything, okay? So the future you will thank you, and it will be the present to the future you, because you won't have to think about batching and stuff when you're gone, sending notes to your team members, because that's not even for real time off, like a real vacation. And so I'm going to give you a list of things that you want to consider for batching out your content. 1, batch out your video content, do a recording day. Batch out your podcast episodes, spend 1 day crafting out what you want to talk about, spend 1 day actually audio recording, or if you do a video podcast. Batch out your social media. Try to get this done ideally in 1 to 2 days. And batch out, if you do email marketing, your email newsletters. Carve out time, block it out, create brainstorming time, and then also create lab or implementation time. Believe me, if you are organized with this and if you are smart, you will give all of this batching a theme when you're gone. Then you can stay within one area and only talk about that one thing and then break it down into smaller chunks. Okay. Now, I would also recommend to write in Google Docs. Google Docs is a live document. You can share it with team members, contractors, anybody who helps you create this content, or it's just a living document for yourself. Now, if you do have a team member, I use a project management system called Monday, and I assign my team members those tasks, and then we link the Google Docs or the Google Sheets up so that they know exactly what to do. And then we also use Loom for screen recording. Now, I also believe with batch creating, especially around content and email marketing, schedule out everything. Don't assign it to your team member the day that it should go out. If you know that they're waiting for you to give them work, then if let's just say you want to schedule it for September 1st, but you have it ready on August 15th, give it to them on August 15th. Tell them to schedule it by August 18th. That way they are done. And again, your future self will thank you. Now, next, let's talk about the systems. Now, I kind of already mentioned some of them, but these systems will work without you. So I believe that automation creates wealth in terms of time freedom. Okay. So I believe in email marketing because the penny is in the follow up. Think about the last time that you purchased a product, a pair of jeans, you got a coupon code when the email nudged you and said, hey, you left something in your cart. And so if you have been sending out one email every single Monday, don't let the email die down just because you're gone. Now, if you choose to, that's on you, but email marketing systems are built for when you're gone. So you don't always have to be on all the time. You can schedule it and then be good. If you don't have a team member to help you navigate sales, then maybe you don't put anything for sale in that system, especially if you have not tested it. Maybe it's just for educational and inspiration purposes only, but still feed your community. Okay. Now, I already mentioned project management system. I use Monday. I will link up all of my systems below. I started using Monday back in 2020. I like it aesthetically. It's very easy to understand. It has built-in automations and it's very affordable and it is easy to pull people into your team, whether it be contractors, whether it be W-2 employees. But at the end of the day, it gives you a one central hub where everything is organized. And once you set it and you schedule it, you can move on to the next project. Now, in terms of communication, me and my team for free use Slack. We can send voice notes. You can actually do screen recordings up to, I believe, maybe 5 minutes in Slack. But that is my day to day communication with my team. When we check in, we check out. However your team communicate, I just prefer Slack, especially for boundaries for me and my team members, because once you're off, you can swipe the little status off and you're off. You don't have to send a text message hoping that somebody don't get disturbed. Nope. The only time that me and my team member actually do text messages is when we are at a live event and maybe she's staying in one part of the hotel, I'm staying in the other, and it's just a lot easier to send a text message. But we do use Slack and they do have a free version. Now, for file storage, these are things that you just want to have in place. Some people use Microsoft Office. I use Google Drive. It's simple, it's affordable, and it's linked to my email address that is a professional domain. Okay. Now, for graphics, since we were talking about batch creating, I do use Canva like many of us. For video editing, I sometimes might use CapCut, but to be honest, I use the Instagram app because I'm on Instagram more for short form content. When it comes down to long form content, I use a variation of CapCut. I might sometimes use iMovie, but for the most part, I do edit podcasts or quick talking head videos like this actually in Riverside. It is very easy to look at my transcript, click a button, enhance my voice, meaning clean it up, make it sound smooth, and then remove any spaces, any ums. So you may still hear me saying those things, but you may notice that, it's less. Okay. And so there are buttons, AI systems to be able to do that, but that allows me to go back to batch creating. But for videos, I will use like the Instagram app edits to edit the video, download it, and then if I want to repurpose it and put it on other platforms, I will also use a scheduling tool called Metricool. Metricool, I schedule out my stories. I can schedule out carousels. I can schedule out reels, and it goes across all platforms. And sometimes I might actually use Instagram's platform or maybe even TikTok's platform, and of course, YouTube for shorts to upload directly into the app itself. It really depends on maybe the music that I'm trying to look for because it may not be in Metricool. If that's the case and I'm going for a particular trending sound, it's just easier to find it in Instagram because I typically save them on my folder. Now, other systems that I use is auto DMs. Now, I want to be clear because I know that you're probably like, oh my gosh, do I need to have all this in place when I take off? The answer is no. All of these were not in place. They have been built one system at a time. Okay. I chose auto DMs through ManyChat because I sell digital products, a lot of PDFs, self-paced masterclasses, and mini courses. And so it's a lot easier when I post reels or carousels. I'm not about to be in my DM, nor will my team member responding to every single message. And I do Facebook ads as well. That's a lot of responses throughout the week. And that's too much. And also you would have to wait for me to reply. So I just felt like it's in the best interest of the business and for the consumer, you to be able to get what you asked for in like less than a minute. So yes, I use auto DMs. Now for checkout systems, because I do sell digital products, I do use a mixture of mostly Kajabi because that's where my courses are housed. And I also use the link in bio for StanStore. Now there are particular smaller digital products that are available via StanStore, but I have been slowly integrating all my stuff in Kajabi because I've been trying my best this year to also just continuously condense the amount of systems that I use because some systems do the same thing and we get comfortable and we just don't want to change. Okay. So every one of these tools serves a specific purpose and to reduce how much I have to do manually and to have to touch certain things in my business, especially when I'm gone or even my team member. Some things I can set it. And I'm not going to say forget about it, but I've tested out these systems so I can remove myself. Okay. So if you would like a actual behind the scenes of how to use specifically Stand Store, because that's what I would reference if you are starting off with digital products, because it's not a large financial commitment. It's simple, easy to understand, and you can do a lot in Stand Store. Beyond the link in bio, you have sales pages, you have checkout pages. You also have it where people can schedule calls with you via Zoom. So many different perks, memberships, and all the things. So they have two plans available. But if you want to get an overview of Stand Store and if you want to see me actually build out a sales page, then I will link that video below. Now, number 6 is delegate, delegate, delegate for customer support. And so you do not have to answer every single email. I already just talked about auto DMs for ManyChat. And so I have one main team member in charge of the customer journey and client journey, all within the same scope of her job description. And so her goal is to manage customer service, especially around customer service. If somebody didn't get their digital products. Now, there is sometimes where if somebody's going through ManyChat, they will DM me and say, I did not get my product. So listen up closely. When you buy a digital product from anyone, you always want to search the spam box and especially the promotional tab. If you are not familiar with my email address, more than likely because you bought something and because of the way that the subject line is written, like congratulations, it will go to your promotional tab. Now, I also encourage you, slow down and double check your email address. From time to time, someone has misspelled their email address, and sometimes your computer or your phone auto-populates it, but it auto-populates a mistake that you've made when you've put in your email address somewhere else. So sometimes you don't get your product because the transaction went through on the payment side, but not with your email address, okay? And so, with that in mind, what my team member monitors is my email box. She monitors my calendar, customers' questions, our clients' questions. She also makes sure that projects are continuously being worked on and moving. Just because I'm out of the office doesn't mean that the business stops. The only time, to be honest, that my team members are not active is we do take at least one full week where everybody is off during the fall holiday, Christmas to New Year. But before then and a little bit after, we part-time and we do send out a notice to our clients. Okay. But at the end of the day, she has her projects and anyone else that has worked on our team, because I used to manage a team of 10, they have particular projects even when I'm gone. So if someone, like I said, messages me directly, and let's just say I am out of town, I'll see it. She can technically access my DMs on ManyChat. But if I get it first, I'm just going to snapshot it and then send it straight to her. But what I'll do really quickly, that person will just have to wait on me to reply though, is I will say, hey, give me your first name, last name, and your email address, and I'm going to send your information off to customer service. And or I will just outright say, here's the email address to our customer service. They'll take care of you in one business day. Shoot them an email. I have never had any issues. Okay. But Instagram now and a lot of these social media platforms have embedded auto messages that technically means that if somebody goes to your DM and they've never DM'd you before, you can set it up where a FAQ, pops up and you can say, I'm trying to find my product or something like that. And they can push a button and then it will tell them exactly what to do. So technically I could use that and then they can email my team. Now, number 7 is you do want to test out this vacation process so that you can trust that it will work while you are gone. Okay. So I would encourage you never, ever, ever launch a system, a product without testing it first, at least a week or two before you tap out. Now, for me, I test things out for at least 60 days because I don't want to just launch something when I am gone. So because we do test our systems, our product, the customer journey first to make sure that they are getting things to see if there are any breakdowns in our system, okay? For example, we run Facebook ads. So in this season that I'm currently in, I've been running the same Facebook ad going on about 75 days now. So by the time that I actually go on vacation, because I actually am the only one in my company that runs my Facebook ads. I've been running Facebook ads for over 7 years now, and I test them out. And so because I've tested out the same Facebook ad over and over. I'm just increasing how much I spend on ads because I increase it over time to make sure that I'm spending my money appropriately. And it gives me a ROI, meaning people are buying the product or they're doing whatever the Facebook ad wants them to do. Then what happens is it's on autopilot for the week that I'm gone. But my team member still knows that the Facebook ad is on. They know what it looks like on the back end with the sales process. And so if a customer emails them, they know how to look it up and take care of them. Now, we do not hire people before we go on vacation. That is a setup. I'm not going to get too deep into that right now, but I would just highly recommend you never hire someone because they're going to need support when you leave. Now, if you have a team member and they are under that team member, like the new person is under the existing team member, that is different. But if that existing team member has never managed anybody before and you're doing a test run with them, do not hire someone or at least create their start date for at least a week after you get back. Okay. Now, again, you want to know what is working and what is not working before you step away so that you can put those systems into place. But remember, confidence with you being able to leave your business and not have a panic attack. Okay. It comes from preparation. And so, again, I'm going to reference it down below. I talked about, first of all, the Abundant CEO Fund because most entrepreneurs cannot take time off because they don't have funds to be able to do so. And I want you to start giving yourself permission to fully enjoy your life. You don't have to get on a plane. You don't have to get on a cruise to be able to do a CEO half day or a week off. You can go somewhere local. As a matter of fact, go down to the comment box and tell me what is something local that you can do to just not work in your home office or in your regular office. Where is somewhere you would like to go to dream big? So that's two different things. Okay. So the abundant vacation framework for me and you in our community, it does give you permission to mentally enjoy your life. Okay. And one without the other actually creates stress. So if you're constantly working in your business and not rewarding yourself, that's not actually going to, entice you to do more in your business to get bigger results. Money alone does not create freedom. You can make all the money in the world, but what's the point of having a fruitful business if you cannot enjoy the fruits of your labor? Okay. So systems help you create the time freedom, the location freedom, the automation, so that you can actually design the business of your dream. So if this video has helped you today think differently about taking time off, and you've got some insight into my behind the scenes of what I would recommend to take a look at, and me breaking down my systems has helped you understand what is the preparation for taking time off, but you want a step-by-step process. You want that checklist. And of course, if you are a therapist and you have a private practice, solo or a group, I would highly recommend that you check out my Abundant Vacation Guide. It is right down below this video. It includes my exact templates that I give to my clients. That includes checklists, swipe files, client notifications, and standard operating procedures that needs to be in place before you take time off. And it is something that I personally use still in my clinical practice today to take any time off. Okay. Now, if you are enjoying this abundant summer series, okay, depending on when you're watching this, I don't know, make sure that you subscribe because over here in this abundant land, the next few episodes are really going to be taking you behind the scenes. So I'll be showing you some fun of how I pack so that we can decrease anxiety because I do have anxiety. Okay. I prepare my business, which was part of this episode, to break down what it's like to actually take time off. So make sure that you took notes or watch it again. Make sure that you go back and watch that Abundant CEO Fund so you can start planning for your time off. But I want to bring you along behind the scenes for 7 days in this season of what it takes for me to take my whole family, meet up with some friends out of town, 3,000 miles away, kind of giving y'all some hints so that we can have a grand old time and what life looks like outside of the office. Okay. So if you are all the way down to enjoy life with me, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you come back. Let me know again, what is your dream vacation and what is something that you can do that doesn't require you to do all these plans that you can do locally, but to help you reset in your business so that you can flourish in your business. All right. But I would love to have you back. I would love to have you part of our abundant community. Subscribe to the channel and I will see you in the next one.